Let's get real if you think being overly attentive and showering her with endless affection is the way to win a woman's heart. You've been misled, in fact. The opposite might be true. What if I told you that by simply ignoring her, you could get inside her head, make her question her own feelings, and even flip the power dynamic in your favor? Sounds harsh, maybe, but that's the cold, hard reality of attraction psychology. The art of ignoring a woman isn't about disrespect. It's about shifting your mindset. Men have been programmed to believe that the more they invest, the more they'll be rewarded. But what if that approach is actually pushing her away? Ignoring a woman taps into the core of her emotional triggers. Her desire for validation, attention, and the mysterious allure of what she can't have. It's human nature to want what's out of reach. And by creating that distance, you can make her chase you. Now, before anyone rushes to judge, let's be clear, this isn't about manipulation in the toxic sense, but rather understanding the deeper psychological dynamics at play. Women are emotional creatures driven by complex desires. And sometimes the more you back off, the more intrigued they become. When you master the art of pulling away, you stop coming across as needy. And suddenly she's the one craving your attention. This strategy, though controversial, has roots in evolutionary psychology. Men who appeared more self-sufficient were often viewed as stronger and more attractive mates. In today's world, the same principle applies confidence. Self-control and scarcity create attraction. If you're always there, always available, you become predictable, and nothing kills attraction faster than predictability. So in this video, we'll dive deep into the art and dark psychology of ignoring a woman, breaking down the tactics that can help you hold her attention without being overinvested, ready to flip the script and make her want you more than ever. Let's get started. Number 1, overinvesting kills attraction. Let's break it down. Overinvesting in a woman is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. We've been led to believe that if you just give her more time, attention and affection, she'll fall for you. But here's the harsh truth. The more you give, the less she values it. Overinvesting actually repels her. Imagine this, you're constantly texting her, planning dates and dropping everything to be with her. At first, she might appreciate it, but soon she starts taking you for granted. Why? Because when you're always available, she knows she doesn't have to work for your attention. And if she doesn't have to work for it, she won't value it. Now imagine you're giving her space instead. You're not always the first to text. You don't cancel plans for her, and you've got your own life. Suddenly she starts to wonder, why isn't he chasing me like every other guy? This curiosity, this lack of constant attention pulls her in. When something is too available, it loses its value. The same rule applies in relationships. For example, let's say you're always the one to initiate contact. You're texting her all day, trying to keep the conversation going. She might engage at first, but soon it feels like a chore to her. You're no longer the guy who intrigues her. You're the guy who's too easy to read. On the flip side, if you're a bit more distant answering, when you're genuinely free and keeping the conversation light, you're suddenly unpredictable. And unpredictability is exciting. Overinvesting sends a message that you're too focused on her, which comes off as needy. Imagine you're constantly buying her gifts, showering her with compliments, or dropping everything to be there for her. It might seem like you're being caring, but what you're really doing is lowering your own value. You're telling her she doesn't have to invest in you, because you're doing all the work. The men who understand this know that pulling back, creating space, and being selective with their time keeps a woman on her toes. Attraction is about value. And if you're always overinvesting, you're giving yours away for free. Number 2, ignoring triggers curiosity. Here's a fact. Ignoring a woman often works better than showering her with attention. Why? Because when you don't give her the validation she's expecting, you trigger her curiosity. She starts wondering why you're not reacting like every other guy. And that makes you stand out. For example, let's say you meet a girl at a party. You hit it off, and while most guys would immediately follow up with endless texts, or try to lock down a second date right away, you take a different approach. Instead of constantly checking in, you keep your distance. You might text her, but you don't bombard her. What happens next? She starts thinking about you. She starts wondering why you're not pursuing her as aggressively as others. This mental gap is what pulls her in. When you ignore her, or at least don't immediately chase, she has time to think about you and wonder where she stands. Humans are wired to crave what's uncertain. If she knows you're always available, she'll lose that sense of excitement. But if there's a hint of mystery, if she's not sure when you'll text next or how invested you are, she'll find herself more drawn to you. Another example. Let's say she sends you a message, and instead of replying instantly, you wait now. You're not playing games here. You're simply not prioritizing her over everything else in your life. She'll check her phone, maybe even reread her message, wondering why you haven't replied yet. That anticipation is what creates attraction. It's not that you're purposely ignoring her to be mean, but by not giving her instant gratification, you create space for her curiosity to grow. The key is to not be overly available. Women are attracted to men who have lives of their own, who aren't hanging on every text or constantly trying to seek approval. When you hold back a little, you maintain an air of mystery. She becomes curious about why you're not acting like everyone else. And that curiosity keeps her interested. Ignoring, when done correctly, isn't about being rude, it's about keeping her engaged. On a deeper psychological level, the less you give her, the more she wants. No 3 mystery keeps her hooked. Let's face it, nothing kills attraction faster than predictability. If a woman knows exactly what you're going to say or do next, she loses interest. That's why maintaining an air of mystery is so powerful. When it comes to attraction, the unknown is intriguing. And when you're a little harder to read, she can't help but be drawn in. Think about it when you're too transparent. You give everything away. You're always texting her back immediately, sharing every thought and emotion, and making your feelings crystal clear. While honesty has its place, too much of it too soon ruins the thrill of the chase. Women love the excitement that comes from not knowing exactly how you feel or where the relationship is heading. The more you let her guess, the more invested she becomes in trying to figure you out. You can probably relate to the feeling of losing interest. When someone is overly available or too eager to please, it's human nature. We want what we can't fully have. And when a woman senses that you're not completely accessible, it makes her work harder for your attention. When she's working for it, she's thinking about you more. And the more she thinks about you, the more she becomes emotionally invested. By keeping parts of yourself back, you create a sense of intrigue. Maybe you don't always share your plans, or you're not always available when she wants to hang out. Maybe you're selective about what you reveal about your life. Whatever it is, when she has to fill in the blanks, she becomes more attached. The effort she puts into figuring you out makes her more invested in the relationship. Now, this doesn't mean you should play mind games or be emotionally distant for the sake of it. It's about balance. You want to be genuine, but you also want to avoid being an open book too quickly. Keep some aspects of your life private. Don't always explain yourself. Be unpredictable in a way that's natural to who you are. Women crave emotional stimulation, and mystery gives them exactly that. When you're unpredictable, when she's never quite sure what you're thinking, or what move you'll make next, you keep her on her toes, and that's what keeps her hooked. Never being completely sure she's figured you out. Number 4, pull away, but don't disrespect. A lot of men have this misguided notion that pulling away means completely ghosting a woman, cutting off all communication or treating her like she doesn't matter. Let's be real for a moment. That's not strategy. That's just being immature. The art of pulling away isn't about acting like a jerk. It's about giving her space to realize your value without crossing the line into disrespect. Too many guys think that ignoring her means going cold or showing her zero respect. That's not going to make her want you more. It's going to make her think you're not worth her time. And honestly, if your approach to attraction involves being dismissive or rude, you've already lost. Women aren't drawn to cruelty. They're drawn to confidence and emotional strength. Here's where a lot of men go wrong. They confuse pulling away with shutting down. They think if they ignore her texts or act uninterested, they'll somehow gain the upper hand. But there's a fine line between creating mystery and being disrespectful. Women want to feel valued, not like they're part of some manipulative game. If you go too far and start treating her like she's disposable, you're sabotaging any real connection. Wake up, women can see through that. If you're pulling away just to mess with her emotions, or to get her to chase after you, it's only a matter of time before she sees your immaturity. If you think being rude will make you more attractive, you're playing yourself. Pulling away, when done right, is about showing that you're not needy or desperate, but also that you respect her. It's about giving her the space to miss you, not about punishing her with silence. You're stepping back to focus on yourself, your goals, your life, not to play games. She'll feel that difference when she sees you're a man who values himself enough to not always be available, but still knows how to treat her with respect. Her interest will grow naturally. So stop thinking you need to be disrespectful to pull away. You don't need to degrade her to elevate yourself. True confidence is shown through your actions, by knowing when to step back while maintaining class and respect. That's how you make her want you more. Number 5, make her chase you. Let's get straight to it. If you're constantly pursuing a woman, you're missing the point of attraction. You're not going to win her over by being the one who's always making the effort. Instead, you need to flip the script and let her do some of the chasing. The problem is, many men don't realize how detrimental their constant pursuit can be. If you're always the one reaching out, planning dates and trying to impress her, you're putting yourself in the position of the pursuer. And she's in control. Here's a wake-up call. Women are more likely to be interested if they have to work a little for your attention. When you make yourself too available, you're basically telling her that she doesn't need to put in any effort. And that's not attractive. Women want to feel like they're earning something valuable. And if you're just handing over your attention and time without making her work for it, she's not going to appreciate it. Many guys think that playing hard to get is manipulative or disingenuous. But here's the truth. It's not about playing games. It's about setting boundaries and creating genuine interest. When you let her chase you, you're showing that you value yourself and have other priorities. It's a signal that you're not desperate for her attention. And that's what makes you stand out. Stop chasing after her like she's the last bus of the day. Instead, focus on your own life interests and goals. When you're fully engaged in your own world, she'll naturally become more curious and interested. Your life should be full enough that you're not waiting around for her responses or rearranging your schedule just to fit hers. The key is balance. You don't want to be completely unavailable or disinterested. But you also don't want to be overly eager. Make her work a little for your time and attention. Show her that while you're interested, you also have a fulfilling life outside of the relationship. When she sees that you're not just waiting around for her, she'll start to value your attention more and make more of an effort to earn it. So stop being the one always pursuing. Let her come to you, and you'll see how much more invested she becomes. Let's be real, men have been lied to for years. The idea that you need to constantly chase women to win them over is a myth. The harsh truth, the less you invest, the more they'll crave your attention. It's time to flip the script. Let her chase you. It's not manipulation. It's basic human psychology. I want to hear from you. Share your experiences in the comments below, whether this worked for you or not, and I'll reach out. Let's connect. Break down these myths and build something real together. Thanks as always for watching, and always remember to keep embracing a stoic approach to life.